Okay, we are here with our next stranger. So the question that I'll ask you is, what is your name? Where did we meet? And tell us a little about yourself.
Okay, well, my name is Tiffany. We met on Omegle. Um, sorry, he's a little bit restless. Um, well, I just turned 22 last month. Um, he just turned 8 weeks old today. This is Connor, if I can get him in
Hi,
frame.
Connor.
There we go. So he's a little quarantine baby.
Oh, my cousin actually just had a quarantine baby too, probably about the same time, probably 2 or 3 months ago. Yeah. So what has it been like, having a baby in quarantine with all this craziness?
Well, we don't. Nobody's got to meet him yet. That's so. Of course, I don't live anywhere near any of my family. I just moved to Texas about a year and a half ago, and I'm from Arkansas. So none of my friends and family are here. So,
Did you move there for a job?
uh, no.
Hmm.
Long story. So I've basically been homeless since I was 18. Um, I've been bouncing around couches for the last for about 2 years. I My mom's husband finally allowed her to let me move in with them, and then so I moved in with them last year in February, and um, I got a job. I was working, but I got a job at a gift shop, and it's a summer job. So when they closed in August, I lost my job, and my stepdad kicked me out. So, and that was about a month after me and my boyfriend started dating, and he offered to let me move in with him uh, until I got on my feet. And instead, this happened.
Wow, what a story,
So,
huh? Wow.
yeah. So our anniversary, our 1 year anniversary, is in 2 weeks from tomorrow.
Oh man. Wow, what all the stuff that can change in a year, huh?
Yeah.
Wow.
So
So how are you liking Texas
it's very hot.
compared to Arkansas? I would have thought Arkansas was pretty hot too.
Not really, because I live pretty much on the beach here, so it's quite a bit different. Like in Arkansas in the winter, it gets down to the tens, and here it doesn't.
Is it like
I think
are you near like Corpus Christi, like that
that's
coast?
actually where I live, is
Oh,
Corpus.
great. That's cool. That's great. Yeah, I just know geography like kind of well. So like yeah, that was just a guess. Um, Wonderful. Wow.
So,
So what do you think about everything that's kind of going on with the country and everything? What are your thoughts of that stuff?
well, I think people are freaking stupid for thinking that they don't have to take precautions because they don't think they'll get sick. Like, the thing is like, just because you don't think you'll get sick doesn't mean that you can't get the virus, not show symptoms, and pass it on to somebody that it can kill. Like, for me, I have asthma, so I am more at risk for this virus. And he was just born, so he's very much at risk for this virus. And that's what people don't understand is, you're not just putting yourself at risk when you're not taking the proper precautions. You're putting people like, people's babies at risk. So,
Yeah, it's hard. It seems
uh,
like people aren't thinking past their own their own lives. themselves. It seems like it's a very self-centered kind of mentality for people who aren't wearing masks and social distancing.
Yeah.
So where are you now? Did you and your boyfriend move and have your own place down there, or?
Actually, we live with his parents.
Oh, cool. Cool.
So, yeah. They're Hispanic, so they live together for years and years and years. So that's just a cultural thing. So his older brother is 27. He lives here too, as well as their little sister who just turned 17. So, and my boyfriend is actually turning 25 on Sunday.
Wow, right near your 1 year anniversary.
Yep. We've got Mother's Day and then his birthday and then my birthday and then Father's Day and then Independence Day and then his birthday and then our anniversary, all within like 2 weeks of each other.
A lot of celebration.
Yeah.
Does can I ask, you being there now and kind of having an idea of, the Hispanic culture, um, not that you are yourself Hispanic, but like do you what are their thoughts on all this stuff with what's going on with Trump and like the border and stuff? Do they talk about that?
uh Not that I'm really aware of. His dad doesn't speak English, so I barely talk to him. He knows very little English, so on the rare occasion he does speak to me, it's pretty much hi. And uh, I don't know if his mom is political or not, so she
Yeah,
she at least doesn't talk about that stuff to me. So
yeah.
I have no idea. I know that my boyfriend is pretty much pretty into politics. So um,
What are your thoughts of all of it?
I mean, I'm not really much of a political person, but I will say that I do not like Trump at all whatsoever. And my mom and her husband, though, they are big Trump supporters. So I had to unfollow them on Facebook because I was tired of seeing their pro Trump stuff.
Hmm.
So
What is it about him that you don't like?
well, I mean, people are going to say like, well, you can't believe that because it's just on the internet, but I mean, there's so much proof of what a bad person he is. All of the racist things that he said, the sexist things he said, and he's just not a good person. And then with these things that came out recently showing that he's a child rapist as well. This is public. Um, uh,
It's just kind of
what's the word?
mainstream kind of topic, right? Or
Yeah,
public knowledge. Is that what you're saying? Public
yeah.
knowledge?
Mom brain.
That's hey, that's okay.
I'm gonna readjust how I'm sitting.
Okay. So what does Connor like to do? What do you know what is there something that he likes?
Like Star Wars. We have had a Star Wars marathon the last 2 days, and it is the only thing that I've ever seen actually keep his attention. So, and I watch a lot of TV lately. So,
I think
but
most people probably are watching TV more than they ever thought they would these days, you know?
yeah, 'cause I actually didn't grow up with TV. I grew up on a farm.
Oh wow.
So, yeah, so I didn't have cable. My grandma had satellite, but we didn't have satellite TV at our house. So I just didn't watch TV. Um,
What was that like growing up on a farm?
I loved it, honestly. Uh, I miss it really. I don't like the city. Um, so I mean, I spent my entire childhood, playing out in the barn with the horses and the cows, and um, Um, we we had chickens and ducks and pigs, and I love the farm life. So it's just that's the way
It's
I
what you're
grew up,
used to.
and
Yeah. Yeah. It's like happy memories, like good happy memories.
yeah.
What about school? Did you like school much growing up?
No. I hated school so much. I I have some like mental health issues. I was diagnosed with anxiety and chronic depression when I was really little, and then I got diagnosed with ADHD when I was a little bit older, and then due to some traumatic experiences when I was really little, I ended up also diagnosed with PTSD when I was 14.
Mm.
So I was a big target for bullying.
Oh. Do you have like what do you think should be done about that? Like should do you yeah, like it's so tough because I mean, like young people don't know or listen to each other really, you know. Everyone is just kind of concerned about themselves and being liked and being, like so for you bullying was the thing that really made you not like school.
Yeah, I actually ended up dropping out of school when I was in 10th grade because of it. So, because it wasn't just the students that were bullying me, it was the teachers and the staff. So, the counselor at the high school that I went to, she physically manhandled me. I had a panic attack the last day that I went to school. I had a panic attack during class. The teacher sent me to the nurse's office, and the counselor somehow found out that I was in the nurse's office, and she came in there, grabbed me by my arm, and dragged me to her office. She left a bruise on my arm, and she mocked me. She mimicked my panic attack. She made fun of me, and then she called my mom and told her that I was lying about stuff to get out of class.
What could have been done to make things better for you, to make things manageable?
If the school district actually did something about bullying, because they didn't. They would say they would, but they wouldn't do anything. I mean, like, I got sent to suspension when I was in 6th grade after getting assaulted in the hallway, and the girl who assaulted me didn't get any punishment whatsoever. So it's like it didn't make any sense to me, and um, like they kept saying to my mom, they'd be like, "Oh, well, next year will be better, but next year will be better, next year will be better," uh, and it never got better. So she really desperately wanted to hold me back a grade, because I was younger than everybody in my class,
That's big. Yeah.
and they just absolutely refused to help. So
Jeez. Is there is so these days, you have Connor, and what are some things what are some things that you really like? The things that bring you joy in your life, I mean, you have your son, but are there any kind of interests or passions
uh,
that you've had, hobbies that you
I like
really
to
like?
draw.
Oh,
So
great.
I my dad's little brother, my uncle, he was more of a dad to me than my real dad was. And he kind of got me into everything that I'm interested in. So, I love books, I love video games, I like fantasy and mythical stuff. I like uh
Dungeons
just
and Dragons. I love it.
yeah. Um but he's the one that got me into art and everything. And he actually he committed suicide when I was 16.
This is your uncle.
Hmm.
Oh, I'm sorry.
And at that point, I actually got really into art. I started drawing pretty much 24/7. That was actually when I had the panic attack at school. My mom texted me and told me that he had gotten in a car accident, and he had a seizure while driving and ran into a tree. And a month later, he committed suicide. So
Wow. Sounds like a story could be written about a book could be written about you, and your life and stuff. And to think that your life is really only beginning, like,
yeah,
wow.
so
Well, oh yeah, I'm sorry.
I want to give him a better life than I had. So,
Yeah. Well,
but
it's very clear that you're a loving person and that, thank you so much for sharing your story. And, there's so many people in pain. And, these days, there are a lot of people who say, like, white privilege and, like, oh, you're privileged. But trauma doesn't belong to just one race, you know? And to be able to work together and to love and fight hate, we have to realize that we all have these experiences. All human beings have trauma, and it's important to listen and to realize that, like, the world just is unfair sometimes, right? Like it just it seems like you have a beautiful son.
yeah, he looks just like his dad.
Oh
So,
yeah. Well, do you have anything else that you'd want to say before we get going?
um, I mean, I think people just need to think about what they're doing right now. Wear your freaking mask when you go out, and just people need to be careful because it's not just you that you're putting at risk. You're putting everybody else at risk too. So, because I mean, this virus, it's not that deadly, but the reason that it's so bad is because they can't do anything about it. So that's what people don't understand. It's like it's about as deadly as the flu, but um it's a lot more dangerous because they can't cure it right now. They don't have a way to prevent it. They don't have a way to cure it. And um people like me, with lung issues, people with compromised, um, uh, people need to be cautious, not just for them, but for everybody else. So
Oh,
it's
yeah.
just,
People, yeah, need to have common sense and yeah, just remember that when you're walking around that there are people who have babies and who have grandparents who are could be at risk. Yeah. Well, thank you, Stephanie, for being brave and for sharing this. I'm sure a lot of people will see this and want to reach out to you and stuff. So,
it's Tiffany, not Stephanie.
oh, did I say Stephanie? I'm sorry. Do I keep saying do I keep saying Stephanie?
That was the first time you said it.
Okay, thank you. Yeah. Sorry, Tiff. Sorry, Tiffany. Okay. Well, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to end this, and it should be posted on YouTube in the next half hour or so.
Okay.
And also, if you could send me an email with a picture of yourself that I could use for the thumbnail for the video, that would be really helpful too.
Okay.
Okay. All righty. All right. I'll talk to you soon.
Okay, bye.
Thank you again. Bye, Connor.